Hello and welcome everyone to the pilot episode of the Xylerian Show. Now, you might be wondering why I decided to make a podcast. Well, I feel in the entertainment world, nobody really cares about the right things with entertainers. They care about their personal lives, their artistic values, what certain pieces mean to them. However, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, as the one German philosopher who died of syphilis said, we should embrace the absurd. So, I'm going to start off by introducing my first guest. We have Mr. Mathias Sletten. Matthias, go ahead and tell me a bit about what you've done entertainment wise.
Yeah. It's Matthias here. Um, been kind of around the block. I'm just into art as a whole. Most publicly though, I was in a band called Angry Reacts Only that did fairly well. The slamming deathcore band.
That is true. I remember the god tier times of the memes going around when you had that project going.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. Good memes, good music. It was fun.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get into it. I like to open up with a little bit of questioning. I've got some pre prepared for you. And as we go through them, we can just elaborate as much as we want with the questions.
All right.
So, to start off, if there were any five public figures who are currently alive that you could have turned into fish for the rest of their lives, who would they be and why?
Dude, the deep question.
Yes,
Turn
you,
into fish.
the kind of fish
Um,
doesn't matter. You can make it any kind of fish. I won't accept whales or dolphins because they're not fish. But if you want to make like Mitch McConnell a trout, I ain't gonna argue.
um, you know, who I don't know. Poppy could probably be a catfish.
See, I think Poppy already is a catfish, but that more so would have been when she was 14, going off of how she acts online.
Ah, very true. Uh, man, who else is like,
I think personally, Jeff Bezos should get turned into the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons.
yes. Oh my God, that would be perfect. I can totally see that.
Like, if we think about anyone who really represents Mr. Burns, I think the one person who asked for the fish treatment the most is the same man who got a guillotine in his front yard this summer.
Oh Lord. But honestly, I'm really bad about it. I don't keep up on like what's going on as much as I should.
That's fair. Here, for our next question, I actually got one prepared that everyone I think has some kind of opinion in. What's the worst comic strip?
The worst comic strip?
Yeah, like in newspapers, you got Garfield, Far Side, bunch of those really bad just boomer jokes.
You know, I don't even know if they're in like newspapers anymore, but like you'll see those just obvious boomer memes going around on Facebook. Not as often anymore, but like
Like the
as I've
2012 Minion era boomer meme, or the ones where they just like draw someone walking off a cliff looking at their phone and be like, too bad he couldn't
yeah,
look up.
those. Yeah, those. Those are just so pointless. Like what?
I can agree with that. I truly have looked through Facebook boomer groups and questioned how they can look at that unironically and laugh. Like, I think they're the best memes nowadays.
I didn't even realize that existed.
Oh, I'm in like
Oh
this one
Lordy.
Facebook group just dedicated to like Slayer fans from the 80s. And if you want
Oh
good
no.
boomer memes, find Slayer fans in the
Oh
80s.
Lord.
They've complained about things as minor as men just putting their hands over their faces and been like, glad we listened to Slayer and aren't such sissy men. It's
That
like,
sounds like a typical Slayer fan, honestly. Oh my God.
right? I just have to wonder if they have a can of PBR to match the rest of their personality being trash.
Oh my God.
Next question, though. If you could 1v1 any president who is dead in a game of your choosing, which one and why?
I have to think about a good game now. You know, I feel like Theodore Roosevelt would actually put up a good fight on Modern Warfare 2.
Are you thinking snipers only for Roosevelt? Because I feel like he would do fair if you kept it to like riot shields only.
He could be a riot shield player. I don't know.
Teddy
I feel like
Roosevelt would definitely be the riot shields player. Like, name a bigger stick in life than when you got the sniper with your riot shield.
true. Okay, very true. Very true. But yeah, no. I think I'm gonna have to go with that. I don't know. For some reason, he's sticking out to me. I feel like he'd be good.
That be fair. For my next question, this is one that goes off of a mutual love I know we both have. Would you please define what ska is?
Ah,
Ska.
lit literally the best thing to ever happen ever.
So I've noticed trying to like go through and listen to ska playlists on Spotify, you find this consistent issue of no one knows what ska fucking is. Like, I've gone
Yeah.
through and you can range from playlists that have less than Jake to folk punk bands on it. I feel like ska has just become this encapsulation of everything serotonin and punk. And how would you try to like in simplest terms put what ska is?
Well, I think people have this idea where anything with that like offbeat upstrumming is ska,
Yeah.
and it's not. It's a huge like factor, but I don't know. Personally, I listen to more ska punk.
See, I think the
So like,
ska punk is a really good entry point that doesn't get like enough acknowledgement.
yeah, it is because I mean already you have like if people are into kind of like quote rock unquote like radio rock, I mean obviously like they'll probably like Green Day, right? And
Yeah.
that's just pop punk. So like ska punk's pretty much like on the same level in terms of like heaviness and enjoyment factor.
See, I agree
It,
with that entirely. Like, I've noticed personally, if I go to like a bar and I'm playing pool with some friends, they have a jukebox. Of all the music I listen to, the thing I feel safest putting on to start in a bar is like Streetlight Manifesto or Goldfinger. Like,
yeah, or like everybody also, I guess like the majority of people that know the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones but don't realize that they know them.
yeah.
Like it's crazy. So like chances are you've probably heard of ska already and you just don't know.
It's such a slept on thing that our nation really needs just to bring back. Why did our last movement only go on like 2 years for ska?
Don't know. It does. It needs to come back.
So, on to the next question. Which Goosebumps book would you want to live through the main character role of?
Oh my God, dude. I read them so much and I don't even remember any of them. Hold on.
See, if you need to Google some, that's okay. I had to, when coming up with this question, try to go through and like remember what a lot of the roles were. First thing I learned, the TV show was so much better than the books that I felt bad starting with the books. My god, the show would make you think Goosebumps was this good book series for kids, but they're the equivalent of reading like my handwriting when I was still having to go through motor eye coordination training for my disability. It was insanely bad.
Looking at these covers here just so I can remember. And I vaguely remember this one called The Haunted Mask.
Yeah, the Halloween based one, right?
Yeah.
See, the one I
Yeah.
immediately thought of when trying to like come up with answers for this was the blob that ate everything. Just because the true main
Oh
character of
yeah.
that was a blob, and I would be vibing as a blob that just eats, not gonna lie.
Just vibing. Yeah. I basically do that now.
Honestly, yeah, it would just be being able to go on like sicko mode with how I spend most of my time.
Yeah, I forgot how many books there actually were. I don't think I read most of these.
That's fair. If I remember right, I was looking through to do some research. He has done over 200 Goosebumps publications.
It's nuts. So yeah, of course, I definitely haven't read most of these.
Yeah, but if we gotta go for one, like, I do remember, fortunately, the title gives away 90% of the plot. Like, thinking about what ones you obviously wouldn't want to live through, the thing that came from the basement, or whatever the exact title of that is,
Mhm.
the Yeti, or whatever one it is, where a guy just sees a Yeti and gets panicked, and then he's like,
Oh,
damn, I
yeah.
saw a Yeti.
What? That whole book was just like, whoa, he saw a Yeti. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, gotta run away.
and like, if I remember right, the Yeti did something scary, but I also don't remember there being any conflict in that book other than hot damn Yeti time.
Yeah, no, it's literally just like paranoia. That's what it was. The whole book.
I love when we can use R.L. Stein's writings to really show the paranoia state that H.P. Lovecraft came up with in writing.
Well, I feel like Goosebumps is probably just getting us ready for adulthood half the time.
Honestly, true. I cannot argue with that at all.
All right.
Recently, I went to the theaters, and I was thinking, this Christmas season, there's not much in theaters, but normally during this time of year, you're going to see something good. So I'm looking at the movies, and I see that they have this movie with Cheech Martin, Christopher Walken, Robert De Niro, and Uma Thurman in it. And I'm like, damn, this looks like it has to be the bare minimum good. Not realizing I was going into a G rated movie. The War with Grandpa. This is a steaming
Oh man.
pile of dog shit. I wish I was joking when the character that gets the most background is a guy who the grandpa's like, yeah, I'm on the phone with him. That's the most background we get about any of them. The love interest we literally just see once, and then the grandpa's like, you're my girlfriend now. Hope that's chill. And the kid kills his grandpa 4 times. Like, I love the concept of a family movie where we kill in grandpa. And it made me sad to think that these actors who had pushed comedy that was of taboo subjects so much when they were like young, with Cheech Martin writing Cheech and Chong, the first like really big stoner comedy, and Christopher Walken with his legendary Pulp Fiction scene about the watch in the ass. And then I had to watch them play dodgeball on a trampoline with 5-year olds.
My God.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
It was
Yikers.
80 minutes of a soul being sucked out of me, and me just simply wondering how they got that many big names to just go, yeah, we need money. Please help.
Speaking of just blowing money away, have you seen Food Fight?
I have not seen Food Fight yet. Tell me
Oh
about it.
my God. So I'm gonna Google this just so I get it right.
Deal?
But it was as if so they had like a couple $1 million to spend on budgeting, and they
Yeah?
spent it all on voice actors, and then the animation was like they just had like the producer's kid in high school that was in like computer science whip up some animation or something.
Oh,
Oh my
gotta
God.
love that. That sounds like a legendary way to come up with some good animated movies right there.
Yeah, so hold on. I'm gonna actually post this in the Discord for you, just so you can kind of get a glimpse.
Let me
And
take a peek.
for the people listening, it's bad. It's really bad. So this is a thumbnail of the full movie on YouTube.
Okay.
Let me put it. I'll put it in main chat here.
Right now I'm looking at a Salvador Dali paint. So to try
Eh,
to describe this, since this is going to be a podcast, I'm currently looking at what is a woman if you took Timmy Turner's teeth, oversized and bigger than any other facial feature. I think that's like cursed deep fried SpongeBob's nose. The crude's eyes Toy Story's animation, but with a little bit of Team Fortress 2 SFM videos on YouTube sprinkled in. Does it keep that the whole movie for like that quality of level?
Yeah, like there's parts, dude, where okay, so I'm gonna give you some background on it quick.
Hell yeah.
So a lot of the characters are like the mascots of like food products.
So are
And
they
like
like animals?
yeah, so there's like the main character, I don't know what product he's from, but it's a dog and he's a detective.
Okay.
But you have like the Green Giant in there. You have the Pillsbury Dough guy. You got the Planters Peanut. Like, oh, it's
How
it's
serious
rough,
is the
dude.
storyline of this movie? Because
It is
going off of
so
that, it
rough.
makes me worry it's going to be like Killer Bean in the way of like it tries to have this memey setup animation and then the story's just dead serious.
Not super serious, but like there's obviously like they're trying like to keep it going in a certain way,
Oh
but it
no.
just doesn't. But I
Oh,
mean, there's parts where it's like this guy, he's kicking a soccer ball around and like dribbling it with his feet,
yeah.
and the ball's translating, but it's not rotating. So, so it's just like moving up and down in the air, but it's not rotating at all.
Like a
So
classic
it's full
Gary's
of
Mod soccer game?
yeah, stuff like that. It's
Hell yeah.
fantastic. But so they had Google told me their budget was 45 to 65 million.
Okay, decent budget, yeah.
It made just under $74,000 box office.
I gotta love
Huge
that.
flop, huge flop. But
Amazing.
you have like Charlie Sheen, Christopher Lloyd, Hilary Duff. Uh,
Of all
what
these
other big names
voice
are in here?
actors so far, they're just burnt out celebrities sounding.
Yeah, well, this came out in 2012.
Oh
So,
no.
yeah, no. It's not going good, Chief. Not going good.
I will have to make this something I check out. I am so curious about what Charlie Sheen would be doing in this.
He's the main character.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's the dog detective. Oh, Lordy. But yeah, no, sorry. Got off on a tangent there.
No,
Food
that
Fight is just easily the worst movie that you have to see.
that sounds beautiful. On to something that has been good. This is one that I have tried to go off about how good it is to many people, and I only have one friend that agrees, so I really hope that you'll also agree. Tusk by Kevin Smith. The movie where he turns a man into a walrus. So good in its entirety. Have you been able to see this?
I have not yet.
So,
Is this, hold on, Justin Long?
yeah, Justin Long's in it. It has a whole bunch of comedy actors. Let me real quick pull up the cast list to go over like who gives the best roles in it. So, Justin Long is the man who gets turned into a walrus violently. For other
God.
amazing thing that happened in it, we get Johnny Depp playing the best French Canadian stereotype I've ever seen. This
Yo,
movie contains the best and worst costumes. Like, the walrus suit looks so fleshy and rubbery, but simultaneously, when you're just watching a man in a suit that's supposed to be a human flesh walrus scream, I really enjoy it just being off enough that I don't feel disgusted watching. And it just does this really great like mix of absurdist comedy with Justin Long being a shitty podcaster who makes fun of a kid cutting off his leg, Haley Joe Osment fucking Justin Long's girlfriend, just a bunch of great stuff. And it gets topped off with this villain who, aside from them giving him more background than he really needed, like they tie in stuff that has to do with an orphan scandal that happened within Canada. Really, no
okay.
ties to it in a movie, which is annoying. But they then have him go on to give these amazing rants where he talks about how much he misses his friend, Mr. Tusk, and how just because of how he feels loneliness for his homie walrus he now turns other people into walruses. Which personally I think is a coping mechanism more real life serial killers should go for.
That I can agree with. This
And
is on.
I know it's
Okay,
on
yeah,
Showtime for sure. That's where I watch it for streaming.
okay. I'm gonna have to check this out
Yo,
because this honestly sounds amazing.
it's it's so good. And while a lot of people think that it would have been better if it didn't have as many comedy segments in it as it does, I think you need comedic relief when watching a man get turned into a walrus pretty consistently.
Kinda do. Yeah.
Yo,
Ah, jeez. Tusk. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to watch that.
hell yeah.
This sounds amazing.
And so on to your good bit of media, my friend.
You know, not I hope it's true, but I saw something a little spicy today about how Mudvayne might be going on tour this
Oh,
upcoming
hell yeah.
year. I'm hoping that's true.
Honestly, I might not listen to a lot of like new metal and early 2000s metal anymore, but if Mudvayne was playing within a state of where I live, I would absolutely fucking go to see some Mudvayne.
Yeah, exactly. Like with where like you and I live, we're
Yeah.
kind of like 20 years behind. So it is completely possible.
Oh yeah. We were finally able to get Anthrax in Montana like 2 summers ago, and they said that was after an 11-year break. So hopefully if we're on like getting Anthrax again and possibly semi regularly, maybe we can luck our way into a new metal concert for this area.
That would be amazing. I actually, gosh, when was that? Probably my junior year.
Yeah.
So gosh, when would that be? 2016? Alice in Chains came to North Dakota.
Nice.
What? Like,
Th-
okay. So, yeah, no. I went and saw Alice in Chains.
like I know the band I've seen the most live is Primus just because they do like a Montana show yearly that I always go to. And
Yeah.
besides that, the next like coolest one that comes here on any occasion is Mastodon.
So when Premise is in Montana, where do they play?
They play in Missoula. They do like one Missoula show yearly consistently.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know that they have one scheduled for this summer. So the concert environment
Okay.
they have is just really weird lately of like these psychedelic bands from the 90s.
So yeah, I might have to go to that because they came to Bismarck one year, and that was a really good show.
Oh yeah, Primus is
That was a really
great.
good show.
Was it this last time they came through Missoula? I was going to college there at the time, and it was when they were doing their tour with Slayer, and it led to them doing this weird thing where they didn't use their normal instruments, and so they just did this really heavy set of theirs that made it sound almost like doom metal for a bunch of their classic songs. It was so
What the
great.
heck? They are. And just like the aesthetic they give off and have like at their
The
shows.
fact that
Like it's good
when you go
energy
to
to
a
match
Primus
it.
show, no matter what age group of people you're expecting there, it's such a diverse range that'll end up showing up. Like I remember
Exactly.
when I went to the Primus only one, there was no consistency. You had like me and my girlfriend and a bunch of college friends waiting in line next to like people who could be our grandparents showing up for Primus live and filling up the pit with people of all ages. It was such a cool experience.
Oh yeah. You know, I'm not sure how I'm assuming just from parents. I'm not sure how like the younger kids are getting into Primus, but I know for me it was my dad, but also they were on Guitar Hero,
See,
if I'm not mistaken.
I remember something about them being on Guitar Hero. I remember I hadn't discovered them through that. I was one of the people who discovered them through a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. because they had Wyota's
Oh,
Big Brown Beaver on the soundtrack for that one.
don't get me started on Tony Hawk. Oh my God.
The best soundtrack
Easily
to
the
come out.
best soundtracks
God,
out of any game.
when they had the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remaster drop, I unironically just played that for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, dude, same.
God,
Like that's what I did.
it's just video game perfection, musical perfection. It's pure art.
And after having the monstrosity of all of the new games come out, like after, gosh, I don't know, just years,
Yeah.
like it went downhill. So like having the remaster come out was like the biggest sigh of relief.
Oh yeah, especially since it made it so that way the skateboarding games can now go back to being known for being good instead of just having to have the Skate 3 appeal of they're so bad they're good.
Yeah, a lot of the newer games aim for realism on a controller, which isn't bad, you know,
Yeah.
but it doesn't give you that fun arcadey feel
Yeah, I
to
feel
just
like me and
button mash.
yeah, me and my roommate were kind of talking about something similar to this the other day of how like you don't really have any mini games anymore that are getting really big. Like you're not going to have any more like online PC games that get big it seems where people are doing like Mario Kart or Tony Hawk Pro Skaters GOAT type events with each other. When I
Yeah,
wish it was possible to just load up a game of horse with someone and see who can do the sickest tricks.
exactly. I mean, you have a few outliers in there.
Among Us
Yeah,
was a
like
really good outlier in that way. I do got to give it its
yeah,
props there.
but that market is super sparse. Um, and I think a big part of it is it's just dominated by a lot of big names.
Yeah.
And I mean, like a few years ago, it seems like I don't even remember which like side of the entertainment industry started it, but like nostalgia was just like making a huge progress for
Oh
like
yeah,
all of the new stuff coming out.
yeah, wasn't that like during the bit when they started making the emulators for like Switch and stuff a couple years ago?
Maybe, maybe because I just know like lots of people started to like remaster games and then they'd maybe, I don't know, remake a movie or whatever,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I noticed that was a big trend that kind of started happening everywhere. Or like it was Resident Evil. That was another one I was thinking of
Oh yeah.
with the Resident Evil 2 remaster. But I just forgot what I was gonna say.
That be fair. If anything, I feel like this has been a very successful pilot episode. I would like to thank you for coming on and testing out this interview process with me.
Yeah, no, this was super fun.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited to listen to other people talk and stuff.
Well, I'd like to thank you one last time for being on as my first guest. And if you would like to be able to support this podcast after making it all the way through the first episode, you can go ahead and find this on SoundCloud, Facebook, and YouTube, Xylerian Productions. And you can also find me on Patreon, where from ranging $5 to $15 a month, you can get behind the scenes content, your name read in the credit on videos, and we do a Discord community that you get to join when you register for the Patreon. Where also, if you sign up for the highest tier, $15 a month, we do a monthly bad movie watching together where we just vibe and chat together while watching some shitty media.